Welcome to Storytime with Gigi. Starring Terry Lynn Crane as Gigi. You will hear beloved stories, fables, and nursery rhymes, and some fun songs from time to time. Gigi brings the characters to life, making the stories engaging, thrilling, and most of all, she makes them fun. And now, here's Gigi.
Welcome to Storytime with Gigi. Today's story is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You see Goldilocks? Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Goldilocks who had beautiful golden hair. She lived in a pretty house right at the edge of the forest. Each morning she liked to play outside before breakfast, gathering flowers and looking at the animals who lived in the trees. One day she strayed farther than usual, and she skipped happily along the forest path, chasing butterflies until she was far from home and very hungry. Just as she was thinking that it might take a long time to walk back for breakfast, a delicious smell wafted through the woods. She followed it all the way to a little cottage. "I wonder who lives here," Goldilocks said to herself. "Perhaps they would share their breakfast with me." She knocked at the door, but there was no answer. As Goldilocks pushed gently on the door, it swung open. The house inside was cozy and inviting. Even though she knew she shouldn't, Goldilocks stepped inside. The delicious smell was coming from 3 bowls of steaming porridge on the table. Can you see? Can you see it? There it is. There was a great big bowl, a middle-sized bowl, and a teeny tiny bowl. Goldilocks was so hungry, even though she knew she shouldn't, she tasted the porridge in the biggest bowl. "Ew," she cried, "this porridge is too hot." Next, she tasted the porridge in the middle-sized bowl. "Yuck," she said, "this porridge is much too cold." So finally, she tried the porridge in the teeny tiny bowl. "Yum," Goldilocks said, "this porridge is just right." And she ate it all up. With her tummy nice and full, Goldilocks decided to take a rest before she set out for home. She looked around the room for somewhere to sit. There were 3 chairs: a great big chair, a middle-sized chair, and a teeny tiny chair. She climbed into the great big chair. "This chair is much too high," she said. Next, she tried the middle-sized chair, but she sank deep into the cushions. "No," she said, "this chair is much too squishy." So she sat on the teeny tiny chair. "This chair is just right," she said as she settled down. But Goldilocks was very full of porridge and too heavy for the teeny tiny chair. It squeaked and creaked, it creaked and cracked, then crash. It broke into teeny tiny pieces, and Goldilocks fell to the floor. "Well, that wasn't a very good chair," she said crossly. Then, even though she knew she shouldn't, she went to look upstairs. In the bedroom were 3 beds: a great big bed, a middle-sized bed, and a teeny tiny bed. She tried to lie down on the great big bed, but it wasn't at all comfy. "This bread is too hard and lumpy," she grumbled. Then Goldilocks lay down on the middle-sized bed, but that was no better. "This bed is too soft and squishy," she mumbled. And so at last she snuggled down into the teeny tiny bed. "This bed is just right," she said, and she fell fast asleep. Now, whenever there's a house with porridge and chairs and beds, there's usually someone who lives there. And that was true of this house. 3 big brown bears lived there. A great big daddy bear, a middle-sized mommy bear, and a teeny tiny baby bear. The 3 bears had made their porridge and gone out for a walk in the woods while it cooled down. At last they went home for their breakfast. "Why is the door open?" Daddy Bear said in his deep, gruff voice. "Why are there footprints on the floor?" Mama Bear said in her soft, low voice. Baby Bear said nothing. They went over to the table and Daddy Bear looked to his bowl. "Someone's been eating my porridge," he growled. Mommy Bear looked at her bowl. "Someone's been eating my porridge," she exclaimed. Baby Bear looked in his bowl. "Someone's been eating my porridge and they've eaten it all up," he cried in his teeny tiny voice. Daddy Bear stomped over to his chair. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," he growled. "There's a long hair on it." "Someone's been sitting in my chair," Mommy Bear exclaimed. "The cushions are all squashed." Baby Bear looked at his chair. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," he cried, "and they've broken it all to pieces." "Let's get to the bottom of this," Daddy Bear growled, and they padded upstairs to the bedroom. Daddy Bear saw the rumpled covers on his bed. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed," he grumbled. Mama Bear said saw the jumbled pillows on her bed. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed," she said. Baby Bear padded up to his bed. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed, and they're still there," he cried. The 3 bears crowded around the sleeping girl. Baby Bear reached out a fuzzy paw to touch her golden curls. Goldilocks opened her eyes, and imagine her surprise when she saw 3 bears peering down at her. She leapt out of the bed, ran down the stairs, through the door, along the path, and all the way home. And she never visited the house of the 3 bears ever again. The end. There they are. You have a great evening and sleep well. And I'll see you next time. Ta-ta.